Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm gonna be giving you part 2 of What If Naruto was a scientist who created a virus and infected himself. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends in social media platform. And also guys, stay tuned for the rest of what ifs coming your way over Anime King 3 and Anime King. If you're new, yes, you heard that correctly. You have not mistaken. I indeed have 3 channels: Anime King, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So how about you guys click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support, guys. And yeah, without further ado, what do you say begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, Naruto was a part of an organization known as Leaf, as it was a sign of the Hidden Leaf name. A group of individuals, several of them not being too favorable with Konoha. Some of them being scientists, as one of them were a doctor that wanted to create something, but he did it in a way that made it seem, well, kind of dark. So he kind of lost his job, and he became a part of Naruto's organization. They were doing good at first, Hiruzen noticed that, until they started to ask for missions away from the village for months upon time, as Hiruzen became suspicious of them, as he became curious what they were gonna do, until the rest of the members except for Naruto died. That is when Hiruzen punished Naruto by demoting him, and for what he did, he punished him by putting him back to Genin. That pissed Naruto off so much that he beat the living crap. Well, not so much, but he was really powerful, so when he hit Konohamaru, it was really brutal, as Konohamaru had tried to talk up to him. So Naruto put him in his place. As Hiruzen was watching, as Naruto looked up to the sky, knowing that the man was watching him with his crystal ball as he looked directly at the man. After that, Naruto made his way. Some ninjas decided to pay Naruto a visit in the night, seeing that he hurt Konohamaru. After all, he was the Hokage's grandson. As they attacked Naruto, they tried to kill him. Well, they could not, as Naruto injected himself with the virus that he created. Because if it was his DNA, it stabilized in him. For his friends, though, it was not the same thing. When they had injected themselves, it worked at first, but then they started to ride and twist until they became these slugs of strange. He wasn't too sure, but he had exterminated all of them with flames that burned the entire lab. As he apologized to them, the entire building exploded as Naruto woke up, as Hiruzen and everyone felt a massive explosion. 8 months passed as Naruto was currently in the land of Leaf, as he was slowly taking over Gato's little empire that was here. As Naruto did not die in that explosion, instead, because of the virus, he got enhanced abilities. He got powers that only people could dream of. He was able to raise an army of undead dogs. They were mix and match, and they were quite furious, ripping things apart, and they only listened to him. Team 7 plus Team 8 and Anko, because of her doing something stupid, had to tag along on the mission towards Land of Waves. After arriving there, Naruto sent his dogs before introducing himself, as Haku and Zabuza used the time to flee. The group was surprised as Sasuke challenged Naruto. One punch and it was done, as Sasuke was forced to return back with them, as Naruto told them that he will be seeing them again as they vanish in the darkness. So with that, the people started to call him the hero, as Naruto kept on, well, dissembling Gato's little forces, and in doing so he was saved in the Land of Waves, so people started to respect him. As Naruto had a plan, because the people were so broken that they need a hero, and he was gonna be that hero. Yes, that is exactly what he was gonna do, as he became that hero for them. Some more time passed after that, as Naruto found himself sitting down eating some good food, as there was a stand in the wave that was a bit away from the Coast Guard where there was some still decent food. As Anko found him as she sat down beside him, asked him some questions as she was surprised by the title that he was given. She never saw him as a hero type. On the other hand, Gato was being reprimanded by his boss. Yes, he might control the organization here, but even he had a boss, and now they were furious about the economy that he put Wave in. As they were part of the old family, they liked when things were done stable and calm and in a good perspective, but Gato had turned Land of Wave into nothing but a muck. Gato was furious at Naruto as well about this person killing his man, as he was gonna make his top agents pay him a visit. Unknown to him that he was sending them right into, well, hell basically. So yeah guys, that's basically that's what I thought. You guys can switch across, so please inject it for yourself so it's to begin this new episode. So, I never took you for the hero type, Anko said. I'm no hero, said Naruto. They just saw me killing Gato thugs and destroying Gato's business out of boredom. I can't help it if they thought I was trying to help them. As he picked up a cup of steak and downed it. So, Anko said as she flicked the dango stick in her hand. It was just a coincidence. Pretty much, said Naruto, as he picked himself up from the table. Well, as great as it was seeing you again, Uncle-chan, I have to go. As he pulled a few notes and placed them on the table, as he placed his glasses back on. As he was leaving until he stopped and turned towards her. Oh, my offer to join still stands, he said, as he picked his black trench coat off the hook, and he was gone. Moments later, Naruto chuckled to himself as he walked down the empty street. Killing some thugs were quite entertaining, but screwing with some Jennings were more of a dessert. And he knew who exactly to screw with. As he vanished in a black blur. Time skip. Sasuke Uchiha growled to himself angrily. He couldn't stop thinking about how he was soundly defeated by the blonde guy. He needed that power. He deserved that power. As he ran up the tree, never noticing that he was being watched. As Naruto sat there calmly, shaking his head in surprise. He was just really astonished. This little punk was demanding that he hand over his power to him. Yes, that is what he wanted, when he was still doing basic chakra exercise. I mean, how clueless was this kid? Was he just stupid or was he downright retarded? Not to mention he was not concealing his chakra that much. So why hasn't Uchiha noticed him yet? Wasn't he supposed to be an elite? Sasuke kept on running up the tree as he slipped, as he flipped and landed on his feet. As Naruto really wondered why Sasuke was sent on a C rank. The village must have gotten stupider since he left, because his kid was not ready for something like this. Putting him against anyone, even that little apprentice as Zabuza had, he would definitely die. He still hadn't noticed him yet as Naruto sighed as he picked himself up and slowly fell from the tree as his foot touched the ground silently. You know, for you to be a so-called elite, Konoha standards must really be dropping. Sasuke fell off the tree as the kunai fell, as he was startled, but he managed to pick himself up rather quickly. As Naruto shook his head, are you sure that you're an elite? He asked. I mean, that was just plain right pathetic. You, said Sasuke, have you finally come and realized what an honor it is to teach a Uchiha? Teach you? Why in the living hell would I want to teach you anything, kid? I demand that you teach me now, said Sasuke. I'm an Uchiha. No one denies a Uchiha anything. Oh, is that so? Or what? Said Naruto as his voice turned dark and hateful, making Sasuke take a step back as he was assaulted with images of his brother, the night of the Uchiha massacre. Just by hearing that tone that Naruto used, words flashed through his mind. Only if you ever grow strong enough to kill me, my stupid little brother. As Sasuke's hands started to shake by themselves, Sasuke found himself petrified. He hasn't even done a jutsu or anything. Why can't I move? He cursed to himself. As Naruto grinned as that ticked Sasuke off. I deserve that power, not you, he said. I, Sasuke Uchiha as he poked his chest. You don't deserve it. You pathetic dog you are, Sasuke said. The smile on Naruto's face dropped instantly. You insignificant bug. I let you off easy last time. And now you wish to push it. Well then, I'm gonna make you wish you were never born. Sasuke tried to blink as his eyes lowered, his eyelids coming back up as he saw a fist. His mind did not work fast enough to process it, as he felt the pain though as he smashed hard into the tree that he was running up. He held his face in pain as he ducked, as Naruto's fist cratered the tree. Sasuke's eyes widened as he rolled away, running on the ground before he pulled, reaching for his kunai pouch, as he tossed several kunais towards Naruto. Naruto basically just tilted his head, as the kunais passed him like they were going different angles, as he kept on walking towards Sasuke, dodging everything that he threw at him. Sasuke searched as his kunai were now gone. There was no more left, as he felt a hand reach around his throat, as Sasuke couldn't even gasp out in surprise as he was lifted off the ground. I despise people like you, said Naruto, as he tightened his grip on Sasuke's neck, as Uchiha felt himself losing oxygen quickly. He tried to kick and squirm, but Naruto stood there, completely unfazed. Naruto released Sasuke as he started to fall until he backhanded him. Sasuke was launched as he crashed into the clearing. Sasuke groaned as he got up as he turned his head. The moment he did, a boot slammed into his face, as he was sent sailing once again. This time he crashed into a tree harder than before, as Sasuke fell face first. As Naruto walked over to him, Naruto used his foot to turn him over until Sasuke picked up the kunai that he was using earlier to mark the tree and stabbed Naruto in his feet. You little prick, said Naruto. While the wound would heal, that didn't mean that it doesn't hurt. He removed the kunai as he stepped on Sasuke's throat, as he just brought his foot down. Sasuke gasped as he struggled for air. As he tried to fight back, he tried to punch, he tried to lash out with kicks, he tried everything possible. But no matter what he did, Naruto's foot was not budging one bit. His lungs burned as he screamed for air, as his vision started to darken, as he saw black encroaching on his vision, as his mind started to get weaker and weaker, deprived of oxygen. No, this can't happen. I'm supposed to kill Itachi. I can't die here, he said. Suddenly, he took a deep breath as he looked up towards the blonde who was no longer looking at him. Instead, he was looking into the forest as Naruto removed his foot. As Naruto sensed two persons coming towards them, as he looked back down. Looks like you get to live for another day, Uchiha. As Naruto reached down and patted him on the cheek. Lucky for you, but I can't allow you to tell anyone about this. It would ruin my plans, said Naruto as he went through Hansan before tapping Sasuke on the forehead, as Naruto sealed away the memories of their fight. Sasuke was dazed as Naruto kicked him in the face, dislocating his jaw and knocking him out cold, as he picked up the bloody kunai that stabbed his leg, as he vanished. As Kiba and Shino was walking down the dirt path, making their way to where they were training, they were told to go and get Sasuke for dinner. Kakashi would have come, but his book was deemed more important. As they walked along, Kiba was unnerved, as the place was really quiet at night. Unlike Konoha Forest that was always full of sounds and actions, training from ninjas, the Wave Forest was almost dead silent, except for the crickets and the rustling of bushes every now and then. There was no other noise. As the place was getting on his nerve, he didn't really like silence that much. Shino felt the same, but he wasn't going to be saying anything about it. But it wasn't the silence that was unnerving him. His bugs felt something off. I don't like this, said Kiba. I agree, said Shino, as both of them arrived to the clearing. My bugs are telling me to leave, but both of them stopped as they saw the bloody and beaten Sasuke. What the hell, said Kiba as they rushed over. Time skip. Orochimaru sat in his office. It was more like a throne room as he mulled over the information that he just received from his ninja Mintago. There was a wicked cruel smirk on his face. The rumor was that there was a ninja that could raise the dead, and he had taken up residence in the small village of the Land of Wave, which was really interesting, as the next information told him that Naruto Uzumaki, the former leader of Wave, was in the Land of Wave. As it didn't take him too long to put two and two together after all, he was the best Sanin. He laughed, planning on sending one of the ninjas to meet the boy and offer him a place here at his village. The thoughts of being able to use the boy to raise an army of dead to crush and rip apart Konoha was just marvelous. He felt his body spike as he was giddy. Meanwhile, the group was on the inside except for Sakura, as she was waiting until they heard Sasuke-kun! Kakashi got up as that cry did not sound normal as he made his way outside. What happened? As he saw the two boys carrying the unconscious beaten Sasuke. We don't know. We found him like this, said Kiba. Kakashi nodded in motion for them to come inside as Anko stood at the door. As she noticed two red eyes in the darkness watching her. Naruto? Until Sakura bumped into her, rushing to get inside the Sasuke. She turned and glared at the girl, and when she looked back, there was nothing there. She frowned as she made her way inside, barely listening to what Kiba or Shino tried to explain, as Sakura kept on pestering Kakashi on how Sasuke was, as she knew that Naruto was more than likely the one that beat Sasuke to such an extent. Not that she really gave a damn, that little prick was the most annoyingest bastard ever. What she wanted to know is what Sasuke did to warrant such a beating from Naruto. After all, she knew that Naruto was not the kind to let go of a grudge, and if the opportunity showed itself, he would take it. Thanks, she said to Tsunami, as Tsunami placed the bowl of soup in front of her. As she idly played with the soup as she wondered about his offer to join him. On one hand, she would be labeled a missing nin and be hunted by 100 ninjas. But on the other hand, she would be with someone that appreciated her and not call her names behind her back because of who her sensei was. And she would get away from the village that hate her and probably learn many new things. She sighed as she looked into her soup. Kurina was focused on Anko, not that Anko noticed. It was unlike her to act this way, as Kurina watched her carefully. Time skip. Naruto was making his way down the better part of the Land of Wave to get something to eat, as he needed to go and find some more test subject after he was done eating. Because of an outbreak in the lab, an accidental outbreak, his test subjects were killed. It was caused by a few rats who had knocked over the test tube, and they got infected and they mutated, and they went berserk. Imagine your surprise when you walk into the lab to find rats that were big as a dog eating his test subjects. The group of thugs were ripped apart. They tried to fight, but the rats were in hands, and the stabs that they got and the tear on their skin barely even fazed them. But it was their own damn fault though, attracting the pests. I mean, the way they were living before he got there was really disgusting. So it was not his fault, it was their fault. As he entered, he nodded towards the man behind the counter. The usual, the man asked. As Naruto nodded, he has been in here for food since he came to the wave. So the man knew him as Naruto took off his coat and placed it on the armrest. As Naruto leaned back, they saw one of the few places that thugs hasn't tried to rob yet. He figured it would happen soon though, and it would be a bonus if they decide to show up, rather than him going to hunt them down. The man placed a plate in front of Naruto, along with a bottle of sake. Pulling a few bills, Naruto paid, as he slowly ate. As Naruto called the man over when three men walked into the restaurant. Yes sir, how may I help you, the man said, as Naruto was his best customer. Well, only real customer, and that purple woman who buy out all of his dongo stuff that he had. Here, said Naruto as he gave the man an envelope. What is this? As he opened the envelope, he gasped as he saw the line of bills inside. Well, what is this for, the man said, as there was nothing but cash in there. So you can replace your chair's window door and clean the floor, said Naruto, as he picked up the sharp stick. As he flicked it on his hand before he threw it, it stabbed into the man's chest, right at his shoulder right there, as he cried out in pain. The two others turned, but Naruto picked up his chair with one hand and bashed it across the man's skull. The owner of the shop ran behind the bar, in fear of being attacked. He closed his eyes as he heard destruction on the other side, until everything finally stopped. He slowly but surely peeked his head out. The people were all gone. The windows were smashed, the doors. It was unhinged, and the floor was bloody. But there was no one there. The door fell as it hit the ground, as that startled the man as he jumped, but there wasn't anyone. It just fell off. Meanwhile, Kakashi was at the table. He looked like he was reading his book, but his mind was different, as he was thinking about how he failed his sensei, and both of his teammates now. First, he failed his sensei, the man who he thought of as a second father, ever since his dad killed himself out of shame. He failed him by not looking after his son. The beatings, the mobs. He really failed. By the time he came around, Naruto was already a true shinobi, cold, efficient, uncaring about human life, until the mission is done, or whatever he needs. Thinking back, he blamed himself that day on Naruto's 10th birthday, and now he had failed Obito leaving. Sasuke to train by himself, and getting badly beaten. Sasuke had his jaw snapped back into place. It was a good thing that he was unconscious, because it would have hurt like hell if he was conscious. He will be out for the rest of the night, but probably awake and be moving by lunch, as Kakashi believed that it was tomorrow that Zabuza would be attacking the bridge. Meanwhile, "Want to tell me something now?" a calm voice said. "You're goddamn crazy," a voice shouted, as the man was terrified as he was being hung on the ceiling over a cage of rabid dogs that were ripping and biting at the ear. "I'm waiting," the voice said, as it was Naruto who was leaning up against the wall, as he held on to a rope that kept the man suspended as he started to lower it. "Please, I don't know. All I was told is that I was supposed to kidnap the bridge builder family tomorrow, and I was supposed to keep them to a random location, keep them away from the house and the ninjas. I don't know where Zabuza or Gato base is. Please." Naruto sighed when he said, "Tomorrow, afternoon." Alright, it seems like you don't know anything." The man breathed a sigh of relief. "Are you gonna let me down now?" "Oh yeah," said Naruto, as he released the rope. The man screamed as the dogs ripped him apart. It's Zabuza, with that big ass sword." "Sounds like fun," said Naruto, as Naruto whistled as he made his way, as he stopped in front of a large glass tube. "Soon," he says, he placed his hand on the tube. "Soon, my creation. The time for you to be awakened will be soon." "Soon," said Naruto as he looked at the beast within. Time skip. As Naruto was making his way through the mist, it seems like things already started up. He was a bit angry at himself for not getting here sooner. If he hadn't go and murdered the two that was sent after the bridge builder's daughter, it turns out that he was right, as Gato has sent more men after he did not hear anything back from these two morons that he had killed last night. He found the Genins as half of them were facing off against the masked hunter ninja, while the rest of the half was protecting Tazuna. As he looked to see the Genjutsu mistress, she was unable to fight. Seems like she was knocked pretty hard, but she was still conscious. Anko was sweating as she looked tired, as water surrounded and covered her. Seemed like Zabuza sent out a small army of water clones to face off against Anko while he fought Kakashi. Kakashi was still clashing against the man. His headband was gone, his clothing was torn a bit, and his hair was damp. As Naruto looked at Kakashi, the way he fight, the way he moved, something was eating at him. What was he forgetting? He then heard the cackling of 1,000 birds. "That son of a bitch," said Naruto as he stomped off into the mist, as he interrupted the entire thing as everyone looked towards him. "Greetings, Kakashi. Or should I say, Genko?" Kakashi froze as everyone else did. "Oh? Don't play dumb with me, Kakashi. I've always been suspicious of there being a spy in Leaf. But to think that Genko was a spy." Everyone was confused. "What are you going on about?" said Sakura. "Genko, or should I say Kakashi here, was my second in command in Leaf when it first started," said Naruto. Realized that he was caught, Kakashi sighed. "It had to be done, Naruto. Hokage-sama wanted to make sure that you weren't doing anything stupid." As Naruto cocked his head to the side, like what? Abandon the village that abandoned me a long time ago. Kakashi remained silent. The way Naruto said it made it sound worse like it ever was. "Naruto, you have to understand. People need time to get over their grief." 14 goddamn years, Naruto said, cutting him off. "I think they had long enough, and I'm done putting up with their shit. Kakashi, you were my best man, so I'll leave you to test out my newest summon," said Naruto. Poof! As a massive cloud swallowed the entire area, Kakashi stepped back when he heard a growl, as a monstrosity emerged. It has grey, whitish skin, a set of long razor-sharp claws, a single, pupilless eye, and a massive heart in its chest that could be seen that was still beating. Hinata was shaking. What is that? As Kiba stood in front of her, shaking as well. I call it Tyrant, said Naruto. He's the ultimate soldier. One that knows no pain, fear, or mercy. Sadly, he isn't perfect. Only a prototype that will soon die, without any life support to keep him alive. 7 minutes, that's all you have, to play with you before his death. But by then I'll have all the information I need. Suddenly, without warning, the beast leaped towards Zabuza and Kakashi. The horrendous monster fought the both of them, as they had to fight together or risk being torn apart, as Naruto watched with a smile on his face. As the both of them were being pushed back, they were losing, as no one noticed that Naruto flashed behind Anko except for Kurenai and jumped away with her. After getting a distance away, Naruto stood in front of her. So, have you thought about my offer? Anko released a breath. You scared me, you know, she said, as she relaxed. She felt grabbed and she could barely move, until she realized it was him. His chakra felt off. Who else could it be, said Naruto. I mean, look at me, she said. Who wouldn't want to get their hands on this body? Naruto's sweat dropped at her childishness. Anko, I want you to join me and become what I become. I want you to follow me, as I recreate this world, where people like us can walk through the village without being looked down upon. Where we don't have to be worrying about being different. Anko gulped a bit. But how exactly are you gonna change it, she asked. Day after day, mankind come closer and closer to its destruction. I will not be destroying the world, merely saving it, said Naruto. As he saw that she was not convinced, as he stepped forward. Please, Uncle-chan, he said. I want you to stay with me. I want to share the power I have with you, he told her. How do you know I won't turn to one for those things, she said, looking towards Tyrant. As Naruto stepped closer to her. Do you remember 2 years ago in the hospital, when you were in there and you needed blood? A blood transfusion because of the blood loss, said Naruto. As Anko looked down, she was working on a new jutsu, but she messed up, as she cut herself rather badly, her stomach going towards her arm, and she had lost so much blood before anyone found her. She woke up later hooked up to a bunch of machines, as she needed a blood transfusion. Sadly, her reputation as the snake bitch didn't attract any blood donors to help her. But the one mysterious person that brought her in did. That incident was well known in Konoha, and because of patient confidentiality, the doctor said nothing. It hit her right there and then. It was you. You saved me, she said. Yes, Uncle-chan, said Naruto. I was the one that he was cut off as she hugged him. As Naruto patted her back. I always watched over you, Uncle-chan, said Naruto. We both understand each other's pain. And I really like you. I want you to join me and share my dream, said Naruto. After realizing that day that no one was gonna help her, she felt like all was lost until she never knew who saved her, but now she knew, as she nodded into his coat. Both were snapped from their thoughts. A loud roar echoed across the bridge. Wait for me, Uncle, said Naruto, as he disappeared out of her grasp. Meanwhile, Kakashi was exhausted. Him and Zabuza had to fight the monster. It was a tank on the field. No matter how much they burned, sliced, gutted, it felt no pain, it just kept on coming. They did not kill it. It died after 7 minutes. Kakashi pulled his headband from his pocket and covered his eye, as he did not want to pass out from chakra exhaustion. He was already exhausted as it was. Good job, Kakashi. Both of them turned as they saw Naruto clapping. I didn't even sense him. Both Zabuza and Kakashi thought. You truly were my best soldiers, Kakashi. Too bad the others weren't smart enough to use a shadow clone on that day. Kakashi growled a bit. How dare he speak about them like that? Like they were nothing. They respected him. They worked for him. But the way he spoke about them, it was like they were nothing. They were his comrades. As Naruto's feet kicked the bridge before he was gone, as Zabuza heard a voice behind him. Too bad you've outlived your usefulness, Zabuza. You'd have made a great tool. But as I said, you outlive your usefulness. Zabuza turned as Naruto's fist smashed into his face. Zabuza-sama! The masked ninja shouted as a hail of ice needles were sent towards Naruto. As Naruto vanished in a black blur, his fist slammed into the mass until the ninja burst into a water clone. Substituting with a water clone. Fast and clever, said Naruto. As Naruto turned to see the ninja moving towards Zabuza. Ah, there you are. Haku cursed as he had to leap away, as his throat was almost grabbed. The moment he landed, he couldn't see the blonde anymore, until he felt a pat on his shoulder. He turned as Naruto's feet raised, and cracked in his face. His head crushed into the pavement until his vision started to swim. As he looked up to see a boot that cracked in his face, ended his life. Zabuza watched with wide eyes, as this blonde guy defeated and killed his weapon with little to no effort. What is that? Said Zabuza as he looked towards Kakashi, as Kakashi seemed like he was ready to fight as well. Naruto Uzumaki, Konoha greatest hero, greatest mistake, and now worst enemy. As Naruto looked down towards his boot, there was brain matter all over it. The boy's brain could have been useful for an experiment. He sighed. As Naruto went through handstand, there was a poof as a syringe appeared in his palm from the seal that was on his center. As Naruto took a sample of the boy's blood, as he sealed it back away. Now that is taken care of. About this miss, said Naruto. He waved his hand as a wave of chakra exploded outwards, blowing and clearing the bridge. One more thing, said Naruto as he looked towards Gato and his thugs. So the demon was beaten by the devil. A mere child, no less. How pathetic, Gato said, as the man behind him all laughed. As he looked towards Haku. Too bad that little prick died. I wanted to teach him a lesson myself. As Naruto waved his hand. Poof! Zabuza paled, as did Kakashi, as he thought another Tyrant was gonna show up, but instead 15 demon dogs appeared. As Naruto whistled, the dogs shot forward. As Anko made her way towards Kurenai as the slaughteration happened. Are you okay, Kurenai? Kurenai nodded. Yeah, I'll be fine. How about you? I saw that. Anko waved it off. It's nothing to worry about. Kurenai looked towards her, but she didn't say anything. Meanwhile, she looked over as she heard a gurgle as Gato got impaled. But he was not the only one. Zabuza was ripped through by Naruto, as Naruto tossed them both over the bridge. As Naruto looked over, his arms crossed, his back turned, leaving himself wide open, as Kiba saw his chance. Kiba! Don't! Kurenai yelled. As Naruto turned and grabbed Kiba by the throat, the small puppy came towards him as Naruto kicked it away. What's wrong with you? Haven't you already seen what I can do? Said Naruto. As Naruto glanced towards his side, he did not move as something slammed into him. The thing, whatever it was, wrapped around his waist. As Naruto released Kiba, the thing forced him to do so. As two of them started to fall off the bridge, Hinata! Kurenai screamed as Hinata held on to Naruto. As she knocked him over, Naruto! Anko screamed out as she saw him plummeting. She rushed over as she saw nothing. The water was so deep and strong their bodies were dragged away. As his words echo in her mind. Wait for me, Anko. No, 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 she said as she looked into the rushing tide down below. Time skip. There's a demon in my mind. They look exactly like me. I can't control its fierce impulses that make me enjoy watching people agonize in pain and suffering. But our leader was kind enough to acknowledge me and show me a facility, give me chemicals, give me a lab so I can work to my heart content. I must never betray Lord Naruto. Never. I will never give away secrets. I will keep them until my grave. And now, with our special report, I will... Harrison paused as... That is where it ends. The journal was still burned badly, so he could not see anymore. As he clenched his fist. What were you working on, Naruto, he thought. It had taken him a while and he read all the journal and books. But no matter how much he read through it, it was just too little. And he couldn't find out what was going on. The only one that truly knew was Naruto, who he found out that was alive, as Kakashi had sent back a letter to him. As he leaned back and rubbed his forehead, this was just way too confusing. Even back when Kakashi was spying on Naruto for him, it was just confusing then as well, as he could not tell who joined first, or what time. It was like the closer you got to solving one thing, everything else changed, and became so much more confusing. He pulled out his pipe. I need a break. Time skip. Anko sat on the top of a tree. Her legs were folded to her chest. She just could not stop replaying the memory of that Hyuga girl tackling Naruto off the bridge. The bridge was named the Silent Bridge. At first, she couldn't understand why Hinata would do something like that, until Kurenai told her. It seems that the girl had a crush on Kiba, and she wanted to save him. As Anko started to cry, she reached up to wipe her tears until her hand hit something. As she reached and felt something in her pocket. What the hell? It was a small black scroll. When did this get here? Time skip. The water was rushing, until something burst out of it. It was Naruto. As his sunglasses were gone, he was holding on to something as he pulled it up. The unconscious girl as he dropped her on the land, as he walked forward as well. He looked towards the unconscious girl. From what he could see, she didn't have any interest. Perhaps because she tried her best to hold on to him, and he was taking the brunt of everything that came their way. But thanks to nearly godlike healing, he was completely fine. As he couldn't even see the bridge, the water had dragged him a far distance away. As he looked down towards the girl, a plan already formulated in his mind to make this work in his favor. He heard her groan as the girl slowly came to. Hinata came to as she rubbed her forehead, feeling a headache, until her eyes caught sight of someone. She instantly backed away, trying to crawl, but she crawled into the water. As she turned back and froze, when the man stood in front of her, she gulped. As Naruto looked towards her, at first he didn't know who attacked him, so it was a Hyuga girl. At first he thought that he was just gonna make sure they woke up, so he could kill them for what they did, and they could see him doing it, but this changed things. Your name, he said. Hinata, she said, stuttering a bit. As Naruto raised her eyebrow. You mean Hinata Hyuga? Heiress to the Hyuga clan? She shook in fear. Tell me why did you think tackling me off the bridge was a good idea? Because you were gonna hurt Kiba-kun, she said. As Naruto stepped closer, making her shake some more. So you decide to sacrifice yourself to save some fool. You're a lot different than any Hyuga I've ever seen before. Another Hyuga would watch as your comrades were killed and not even bat your eye. But you threw yourself in harm's way. Tell me exactly why was that, said Naruto. Because I love him, she nearly yelled. So that was what gave you the strength to do what you did. The question is now, what to do with you? His intense gaze bore into her own, as she found herself trapped, like she was looking at a lion and she was a small, little prey that could not escape. The Hyuga heiress. Surely she's worth a lot more alive than dead. Don't really need money. That's not a problem. But if I play my cards right, I can have the Hyuga clan by the balls. After all, to lose their precious eyes and knowledge. Takumo. Get up, said Naruto. She got to her feet, as she played with her fingers nervously. As Naruto looked at her, she was un-Hyuga-like, if that was even a word. But that made her more easy to manipulate and twist. Turn, and start walking, he said. Unsure, she turned, before she started to fall, as her vision started to darken until she was caught. She blacked out, feeling someone lift her up. As Naruto placed her on his shoulder, he didn't have time for her running away, or falling. Now that is out of the way, I have one last problem, said Naruto as he looked around. Where the hell am I? Time skip. Naruto felt his eye twitch as he looked around, as it has been a few hours since he'd been walking through goddamn forests. His coat tail was dripped and dirty from being caught by twigs. Then finally he came across a small trade fishing town. Small stands. It was a nice little village, even though it was a bit isolated from the rest of the world. He took her off his shoulder and placed her in a bridal position as he walked up to an old woman. Excuse me, miss, he spoke, in a bright sunny voice that was rather strange for him. The old woman that was chatting with another pair of old women turned towards him. How can I help you, Sonny, she said, with a warm smile. As Naruto gave her a fake smile. Could you tell me what town this is, he asked. Oh, why yes, Sonny. This is a small trading town about 3 days from Rakushi, she said. As Naruto sighed at the name. But who is this, she asked. Is it your girlfriend? Yeah, said Naruto. We got separate from our group. And we couldn't find our way back. She was so tired, so I offered to carry her. And she fell asleep, said Naruto. The 3 elderly women. Oh, at that. How sweet of you, they said. As Naruto made his way with Hinata, after giving them a nod. The town was 2 days away from the wave. How long were they floating in that goddamn water? He shifted Hinata's weight as he disappeared in a blur. Time skip. Sarutobi sat in his office, relaxing, as he felt like he hadn't relaxed in days. For one thing, his paperwork was finished. The second thing, the village was relatively calm, and he had just gotten a new copy of his student's book. Nothing could ruin his day, that was until Anko burst his door down and rushed inside. Anko, he said, raising an eyebrow. Hokage-sama, you need to see this, as she slammed a small scroll on the desk. Sarutobi picked up the small black scroll as he read it. Anko, I know that you won't betray my trust, so I'm going to let you in on one of my plans. You see, while we were trying to recreate my healing factor, we came across another virus that slowly kills anyone that is infected by it. But instead of stopping there, it brings who was infected by it back to life, turning them into a zombie. They have the most basic needs. They need to feed. The virus can be spread by a bite. So if one person bit another with it, it will be spread to the other. We've called it the T virus or Tyrant virus. You've already seen the rare effect that it can have on a subject. Anyway, the reason I'm telling you this, I have time release summoning scrolls that will essentially affect the village of Rakushi, turning everyone in the village into zombies. So don't put yourself in any danger by going there. Naruto. Sarutobi dropped his pipe on the decks as he noticed the rest of the team coming in behind Anko. He dismissed the genin. He told Kurona to get checked out at the hospital, as he told Anko and Kakashi to stay. Kakashi, do you know anything about this? As he handed the scroll to the man. Kakashi read over the scroll, his single, uncovered eye widened each second. No. He would only trust Hakushi with keeping that kind of information. As Hiruzen heard that name, he thought about the journal. That was the man that wrote it. Even though I was second in command, he would not trust me with this information. Why did he give it to you? Said Kakashi as he looked towards Anko. He wanted me to join him, she said, looking like she was about to break down. The 3 was in silence for a moment until Sarutobi broke it. Where is Naruto now? As Anko lowered her head. Hokage-sama, during the mission, Jenny and Kiba and Zaka attacked Naruto, but he was caught before he could do any damage. Naruto was then tackled from behind by Hinata and Hyuga, and both fell off the bridge. They dropped right into the tide. They're presumed dead. Tears gathered in Anko's eyes. Sarutobi was shocked. Both Naruto and Hinata were dead. The heir is the strongest clan within Konoha right now, and the heir to the Namikaze clan. He didn't know what was worse, telling Hayashi this, who secretly actually loved his daughter, or not being able to apologize to Naruto for not trying harder to protect him. I see. Kakashi, Anko, I have another mission for you. I need you two to go with that team and find and destroy those scrolls. You both know more about Naruto than anyone else, so you might be able to find those scrolls. We cannot let this virus spread, because it won't just stop there, if what he's saying is true. Time skip. Rakushi was a nice sizable town, better than the trading post that he came from. As Naruto got a change of clothing, it was all black, but it was a different change, and he got a new sunglasses. He whistled as he exited the bathroom. Hinata was tied up on the bed, as she looked at him. He sat down and rubbed her cheek. Don't worry, Hinata-chan, he said. I'm not gonna hurt you. As he pulled away, at the moment, he said, as he sat down on a chair, as he picked up a box. Now, Hinata, I'm gonna let you in on a bit of secret. This town is gonna be running red with blood by the end of the week. Her eyes widened. And you're gonna help me. She shook her head furiously as Naruto frowned. You see, I knew that you wouldn't help me willingly. So inside this box is something that will make you help me, said Naruto, as he opened it. As he pulled a small device with 6 sharp tube coming from it, he grabbed her coat and ripped it off. Damn, no wonder you wear that coat. You fill out nicely. But that black tank top and fishnet had to go, he said, as he ripped those off, leaving her only in her bra. As she started to cry, but the gag muffled the sound. Black lace? What is this, Victoria's Secret, he said, as he placed the device on her chest. When you wake up, you'll be nothing more than a pawn for me to use as I desire. But first, I need a picture to send to Daddy Dearest. As Naruto pulled a camera from somewhere, there was a special genjutsu that would show up on the camera over her shirtless chest. As he took a picture, feel free to scream and cry all you want. This is a room made specially for those couples that got all frisky at night time, said Naruto. After all, they had to find a way to block out the noise. As he channeled chakra into the small device in her chest. As he removed the gag and left the room, she felt the device tearing into her flesh as she screamed. That was the last thing she could remember as she blacked out. But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want to see the next person, do like, subscribe, comment down below, turn on the bell notifications, stay posted, but I'm hoping to see you guys soon. Peace.